What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So it is week number 200. It is milestone time as far as the weekly rotation. 200 straight weeks of this, I feel. It's pretty impressive. It's my favorite format to do every week, as a lot of you that watch this format on a regular basis know. It's my favorite comments to read from you guys, just to see what you guys have been wearing. And had an interesting cap off to my week here today. It's late in the evening Saturday, so got to get my content done for Sunday for you guys on the NFL Sunday. As you see this, if you see it, the day goes live. So we got some variety as per usual. Kind of a mixed bag of fragrances, but all some good stuff. So again, it's week number 200. Crazy, right? Stay tuned. Starting off on Sunday, it was one of those days that I was just in the mood for this one. I actually did a shorts video about it. It's been a while since I've worn it. It's kind of my go-to for the Dior Homme Sport line. This is Dior Homme Sport 2017. I actually wore it again out the shower that evening. So what's different about this one from the newest formula, because I know somebody's going to ask that maybe has never smelled this before. This is 125 ml. This is all about blood orange and sandalwood. Does center around that LME resin that this particular line has been famous for, from the '08 version to the 2012 version with Iris to this version in 2017 to the current 2021/2022 formula. The reason you'll see 2021 and 2022, for those of you that don't know, is it was set to release in 2021 but got held up, I guess, in transport, so didn't release officially till like the very beginning of 2022, but it's technically was intended to be 2021. So most of the time, that's the year you'll see tied to it. Just for those that may ask, what about the 2022 version? It's that fragrance. But this is the previous formula. And for me, the most wearable, the most versatile. Because the zest of the blood orange gives it a little something extra, a little bit more zing than any other version has. Even the ones with citron and everything that do have a very bright, kind of sharp citrus to it. This is more zesty because blood orange is typically more of a slightly peppery, sharp type of orange smell. I don't remember if they have spices. I want to say they have a pepper spice in here as well, but the sandalwood doesn't come across as super creamy either, even mixing with the LME. It's actually quite the nice fragrance for being named Sport. It's probably the sportiest of the four formulas to ever come out. Solid performer, 6-7 hour fragrance and longevity, so it's no slouch, but again, it's no beast either. But this is a great everyday wear. Some would say, and I venture to say, is what I'd prefer to put out there. I'd venture to say it's potentially like one of, if not the most versatile Dior Homme fragrances to ever come out, in my opinion. It's up there with the newest Sport version and Dior Homme 2020 with just versatility, good for everything. It doesn't just have to be warmer weather. This is one of those fragrances. So all day long, it was nice to go back to and revisit the 2017 formula of Dior Homme Sport. Moving into Monday, it's one of the most recognizable fragrances on this channel. One of my highest numbered recommendations of all time on this channel, that being Salvatore Ferragamo Acqua Essenziale Blue. One of my favorite fragrances ever. One of my favorite cheap fragrances. My favorite cheap fragrance, really. And one of the best blues ever made, in my opinion, because it offers something a little different from the rest, because it's a little bit more powdery than most of them. The way the lavender tonka bean combo comes across, you get a little bit of citrus freshness, a woody nuance, even a little bit of an ambroxan smell to it. But the cypriol oil kind of stands out here. There's a little bit of an earthy, slight earthy green nuance to go with the woodiness as it dries. But you gotta like powdery. It's definitely one of the more powdery blues, if not kind of the most powdery blue out there. But it's great. It's a really good performer. It's not quite a beast, but it's well above average. This is in the realm of 8 hours of longevity on my skin with very pronounced projection. I'm not going to sit here and say it's some kind of beast room filler, but people are going to smell you, and you're going to smell yourself very easily. First hour and a half, 2 hours of this fragrance. At least that's been my experience over the years. I love this stuff. I still stand firmly by it. What a coincidence it happens to be in rotation number 200. You know, that's a pretty big number for a format like this, so kind of a milestone in many ways. So it's interesting to see that one of my favorites of all time, happened to be in this rotation. If you haven't smelled this one before, and you like blue, you're doing yourself a disservice. During the day, the famed, at least here on this channel, Acqua Essenziale Blue from Salvatore Ferragamo. Then I got the shower. It's basically the scent profile of Le Parfum with weaker performance because it's an eau de toilette concentration, but it's Mandarina Duck Vida Loca for him. A very pleasant random discovery I've had that I just picked up from Fragrance Buy on a whim this year. It's not a weak performer, but when you compare it to Le Parfum, it's a weak performer. So it's like in that average 5 to 6 hour range, hour and a half-ish projection. Pretty easy to smell yourself with this one, but beautiful citrus coconut combo. Instead of bergamot, you got orange. Instead of cypress for a minty fresh green feel, you have mint and sage. So a lot of the same notes. You still have iris, you still have the tonka bean woods, all that good stuff. It's pretty much just about the same profile. A little bit more of an orange smell at the top than Le Parfum, but it's pretty close. Quite enjoyable. I've worn this one casually to a late lunch, early dinner type of thing by the beach. I've worn it to the beach. I've worn it just running around. I've worn it out the shower as this particular instance. I'm a fan of this one. This is one of my favorite cheap pickups of the year. And if you were looking for basically Le Parfum on a budget, this is what I would suggest you check out the shower. Was Mandarina Duck Vida Loca for him. Moving into Tuesday. So this is a newer addition to the collection. I kind of look at it as the third version of Roja Parfum's Apex because it doesn't exactly smell like either of the versions that Roja Dove put out. We're talking about Paris Corner's Vertex. I just did a full review on this one, and you get more of the fruitiness like I do from the Parfum, even though there's the EDP and the Parfum are the same note breakdown. But you get different parts of the nuance at different stages, like it's a different balance. So the EDP, I go straight to earthy green, smoky, and all that good stuff. I don't really get the fruits. Whereas in the Parfum, I get all the fruits first, then it goes earthy green, dark, smoky, woodsy, all that good stuff. So here, it's kind of like a fresher take on that. It's kind of like the scent profile of the Parfum, but the fresh version, like almost like the Eau Fraiche Flanker. Slightly above average performance to average. It's one of those that is just a joy to wear. You get the fruitiness, but it's more of a fresh green than just dark and earthy green. It's not overly smoky. With the woodsy nature and all that good stuff, the slight tobacco feel. It's a solid release. It's actually one of the better Paris Corner fragrances I've picked up this year. I'm quite a fan, and because it has that slight twist to where it's not really a carbon copy of either version of Apex, it kind of falls somewhere in between the two or slightly outside of either one of them, depending on how you view it. I'll wear it more because of it, because I prefer something with a twist more so than a carbon copy most of the time when it comes to these clone fragrances. So I'm actually impressed quite a bit by this one. I enjoy it a lot. I've been enjoying spending time with this one. And during the day, that is what I wore, Vertex from Paris Corner. And then when I got out the shower, it was time for a shave, so I reached for my Zaharoff Signature Tabac Shave Set, and the fragrance was an absolute joy. Lathered up the soap, hit some of the splash, and sprayed some of the fragrance. So this is a very, very well-balanced tobacco fragrance. If you've never smelled this one, this is a lot of people's favorite from the house, and I understand why. Got a pretty decent dent in the bottle. I'm a huge fan of this one. I like to wear it casually. It's a great professional scent profile if you want some tobacco for your daily professional, business side of your day, I guess you could say. Great in the evenings, definitely really good in the cooler weather. And I even think it's a aromatic tobacco that you can pull off in the hot weather, but I wouldn't spray it heavy. Definitely not. I think it'd be too much because it's leafy and aromatic. It's a little spicy. It's woodsy. It's lightly smoked. It's lightly sweet. It's lightly boozed. It's got nuances of all of the different types of tobacco. Sweet tobacco, boozy tobacco, smoky tobacco, woody tobacco, aromatic tobacco, just you name it. Kind of all in one, if you will. Kind of like a greatest hits of tobacco in one formula is how you can look at it. Claude did a magnificent job creating this fragrance. It's phenomenal. It's a well above average performer without being an overwhelming monster, but if you spray it heavy, it can be definitely overwhelming. But it was nice to wear for sure. Out the shower, had a good shave, and what was a Zaharoff Signature Tabac. Moving into Wednesday, this was my first full wearing of this fragrance, and when I say it's identical to the previous version, just a slightly higher oil concentration, boy, I mean it is spot on. The same formula, they just raised the oil concentration. With Nikos Parfums, this is Sculpture Parfum. Love the blue bottle compared to the clear bottle as well. Same like shark tooth design. I always think shark tooth when I see this thing. But it has that dominant orange blossom, spicy, creamy, bright, and aromatic smell. A little woodsy, very distinctive. This is such a good fragrance. And to have them create a parfum version of it was very interesting, because typically when you see a parfum flanker, there's some kind of tweak that they've made to the formula, not just raising an oil concentration. Normally they change the fragrance a little bit where it still smells like the original, but a different version. Whereas here, it literally just smelled like an increased oil concentration on the exact same formula. That's rare. At least I find that to be rare most of the time. When picking a concentration for the final pick for when you're creating a fragrance and everything, you just got to nail it down. The last step is picking the oil concentration, because the higher up you go in oil concentration, it's not necessarily going to make it stronger. What it'll do is it'll create a balance shift of your top note and your base note. The base will come out more, and the top note will be less than as you increase the oil concentration. I don't think they raised it greatly, because it doesn't smell like a big difference here, but they definitely increased the oil concentration. It does wear a little heavier. It does sit a little closer to the skin. It is a little bit richer. So it's kind of impressive to me that they actually went the true parfum flanker route when they made this one. So it's absolutely worth checking out. I would say this is the better version. It's not as loud. Does last a really good time in that 6-7 hour range. It's not crazy long, but it's solid. For like $25 I paid for this one. During the day, my first full wearing of Nikos Sculpture Parfum. And then when I got out the shower, this is one of like the most fun fragrances I own. I keep going back to this one. It's Paris Corner's Vibrant Vetiver Delight. It is just that. This is a delight to spray. It smells like Sprite with some woods and a little bit of white flower, white orange flower, like I believe it's orange blossom neroli type of thing going on here, without being super soapy. But it's not even lime that's in here. There's no lime. It's bergamot and lemon. But it smells like lemon lime soda. Sprite, Sierra Mist, 7-Up, that kind of thing. Such a good one. It just makes me happy to smell this fragrance. During the day, in the evenings, running errands, going to the gym, it don't matter. This is a happy time fragrance. This is a mood booster, if you will. I can't help but smile when I smell this one. It's very uplifting. I'm a huge fan of this one. Huge fan. Scent alone makes this thing worth having, and it's an average performer. It's nothing crazy. It's not weak, but it's not a beast either. But what it is a great smell. That's all that really matters to me. Out the shower, Paris Corner's Vibrant Vetiver Delight. So moving into Thursday, kind of the dark horse of the Spicebomb line, I went with Viktor and Rolf's Spicebomb Night Vision. This is the Eau de Toilette. So most people are just, even in my Scent of the Day post, there were people asking about it, and other people randomly chiming in, no, get the EDP, it's so much better. The EDP is superior. I agree. It is superior. But this is not a bad fragrance. Not even a little bit. It does have the Invictus / Azzaro Wanted original bubblegum aquatic smell, but it's also got that spicy pimento pepper, chili pepper type of spice bomb spice to it. So that's in the core of this fragrance as well. So it kind of ties that mass appeal of the time when it came out to the core DNA. And I like that quite a bit. Wife's a fan. I'm a fan. It's an above average performer. Drop the pin. It is not as strong of a performer as the EDP. I have to say the EDP is indeed a monster. It's creamier. It's got pistachio. It's got a nutty notes accord. It's a deeper fragrance overall. So I want to make sure to, let you guys know that I do agree. For anybody that's going to say the EDP is better, the EDP is better. But that doesn't mean this is a bad fragrance. It's quite nice. I like to revisit this one from time to time because I do enjoy wearing it. I have so many fragrances. Some good stuff sits longer than it should. Sometimes I had to clean dust off the top of the bottle. Don't get me wrong. All around both rings and then the top, it was collecting dust. But it's been dusted off. It's been sprayed. It has been enjoyed by both myself and the wife. And if you have a bottle of this, maybe it's time to knock some of the dust off the top of yours and enjoy it, because it's better than most people give it credit for. at least in my opinion. I think it's good stuff if you like that modern, mass appealing, kind of youthful, playful stuff with that Spicebomb spicy twist. I want to check this one out. It's actually not bad at all. It's better than people on the internet will tell you most of the time. Anyways, Spicebomb Night Vision EDT during the day. Then we got the shower. We went back to the well. Vibrant Vetiver Delight. Because it's such a delight, like I said before, I don't have anything extra to add that I didn't cover in the previous segment for the previous day, so we'll just keep it on moving. So moving into Friday, we went more of a classy, elegant route. I was in the mood for tobacco. I don't know why this one popped in my head, but it did. I haven't worn it in a while. Has sweetness, has florals, has a rich, warm spice, and an earthy tobacco, and it smells really expensive because it is pretty damn expensive. It's Roja Parfums Manhattan Eau de Parfum. This is a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. This smells so good. I haven't worn it a whole lot. You can see there's not really much of a dent. I've worn it maybe 3 times. I just have so many, I don't revisit things over and over and over, unless I'm working on a review typically. This is so good though. There's white florals. I believe there's a little bit of violet in here as well. Maybe some ylang-ylang if I remember correctly. I think that's where the juiciness to the floral smell comes from. Oh, so beautiful. Warm spiciness. And like I said, that earthy tobacco smell. It's even a little ambery. Oh, this is such a good one. And look at that beautiful atomizer. God, this smells so good. Now, you'll see people knocking the performance on this one on the internet. And everybody's experience is different. And I will admit, it's not a loud fragrance. After about an hour for me, it calms down. Like its main projections only for about an hour. This is more of an elegant fragrance that has a class to it, and it kind of suits situations where you don't want an overpronounced scent. You want your scent to be discovered. That's how this blend comes across to me. It's smooth and elegant. It's a gorgeous aroma, but it's meant to be discovered. That's what I've come to learn about this. It is not to hit you in the face and announce you're here. It's meant to be discovered. And it does last a long time on me. I definitely get an easy 8-9 hours on my skin, because you'll see some people saying 4 or 5 hours. I'm not saying that's not what they're getting. That's just not what I get. I get 8-9 hours the couple of times I've worn it. But I have to admit, I have kind of tracked its projection, and about an hour of good projection, and then it settles down. And it's a mild sillage, moderate to mild sillage, where I might get a light whiff here and there to remind me, but it's not something that even I'm constantly smelling as the wearer. So not a real strong sillage, but also not the weakest sillage I have either. So if you're going into this looking for a performance monster, as you typically get with a lot of Roja Dove's fragrances, that's definitely not the case, but it is a lovely fragrance. Definitely sample first, especially when we start getting into these kinds of price points. There's no such thing as a blind buy in this kind of price point. So definitely buy a travel atomizer, get a decant, buy an official sample, whatever you can to spend a little bit, as little as possible, to make sure it's full bottle worthy for yourself first. But this is more of a classier fragrance. Not really the best casual choice, because I did wear it casually, but then again, wear what the hell you want when the hell you want, right? That's exactly what I did. So it was nice to revisit. It is a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. But I had to address the elephant in the room, because it's not a monster. But it's also, for me, not even remotely as close to as weak as some people proclaim it to be for them on the internet. So take it with a grain of salt, get it on your skin, and try it for yourself. But during the day, the absolutely lovely and elegant Roja Parfums Manhattan Eau de Parfum. And finally on Saturday, today, so I'm fresh out the shower, I'm just kicking it, filming this, going to be editing, rendering, uploading, doing all the good stuff till late tonight. Because today, my childhood best friend, his wife and daughter were in Pensacola Beach, for their annual trip in the off season. They always come beginning of every October. They've been doing it for years. So I mean, I'm not far away. So we went meet them out there. We went spend the day with them. So we were hanging on the beach today for most of the day, on the balcony at their condo overlooking the beach for the rest of it. Ate some barbecue beachside. It was a great day. So I needed that laid back, chilled coastline vibe. So I went with French Riviera from Mancera. In my opinion, one of the absolute best. What is this? Oh, it's a little nick in the sticker. Probably from being in my bag today. Probably from being in my bag. But one of the best casual freshies they've put out. So this is one of my favorite pickups of the year from them. This is easily a top 5 fragrance from the house for me. Top 3 freshie from the house. Arguably, but my favorite fresh Mancera fragrance. It's got a creamy, soft, powdery, white floral tone. Watery, fresh citrus, light fruity, clean musk, soft wood. Solid performance without being a beast, but it lasts a while. I did kind of spray this one a little heavier than I needed, and I had a massive sillage for the trip. I really did. Then before we went eat, I gave myself 2 sprays just as a refresh, like kind of 5-6 hours in, just to relive the opening and kind of beef up the sillage, if you will. But I mean, I had like 6 or 7 sprays just around my neck. I was just going crazy spraying right there, and it was magnificent. I'm not wearing anything out the shower tonight. I'm giving myself a break. But this was lovely. This was so lovely to revisit. Based on the situation and where we were going, what we were doing, I knew what the vibe was going to be. I mean, the color scheme matches the scent profile. So it literally was the perfect choice. I didn't even consider a different fragrance. There's once I knew we were going, this is the fragrance that popped in my mind. And there was no 2 ways about it. If you have days like that on the horizon, you plan days like that, and you're looking for a fragrance that matches your vibe for these situations, please try French Riviera. Please give this fragrance a chance. It is a vibe. It matches that vibe so perfectly. Not a bright, having fun in the water park. Not an active day. Sure, it can work fine for it, but for that laid back, super casual, chill type of day, coastline, beachside, lake, bay, anything like that, this is it. This is the one from Mancera. I'm telling you, this is the one I think of every time that situation arises. One of the better pickups of the year for me. This is such a good fragrance. During the day on Saturday's adventure, the laid-back adventure anyways, Mancera, French Riviera. Well, that was weekly rotation number 200. Crazy to think we've made it through 200 weeks of this rotation. I started doing this in December of 2019. So the channel started July 11th or 12th of 2019. So it was about 5 months into me making content that I started doing this. So it's not quite 4 years of weekly rotation yet, but 200 weeks straight. I don't think I've missed it. I think I missed 1 week where it wasn't straight, because typically I may not be able to put them out on a Sunday. I've had to put the rotation out on a Tuesday or Wednesday a couple of times before, but I always get it out because it's a very important format to me. Like I said, it's my favorite format to do. I love talking about what the week looked like fragrantly and seeing what you guys were wearing. And speaking of, until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. What'd you guys wear this week? Sound off in the comments. I'm super curious, as I am every week. I want to know what you guys are wearing. See if we matched anywhere. Anybody wear French Riviera by chance? That'd be kind of wild. Anybody wear Roja Parfums Manhattan? I know one of my childhood friends, Dace. Shout outs to Dace if you happen to see this. On my Scent of the Day post, he mentioned his bottle had came in that day. He just got Manhattan. So Dace, if you happen to see this, comment down below. Let me know how you're liking it, my man. And until next time, guys, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the fragrances I wore this past week and you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.